Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Akashic Academy and welcome to Spirit Sessions, episode 37. We are excited to have you here this morning, and we are excited to bring you our very, very special guest. We've been waiting for this for a long time. Please like this, share this. The people who share it the most this week will win a 30-minute session, healing session with me, healing through your chakra session. I've put all the links to all our hosts in the video chat on the side of this posting today, so you can find us all there. Please drop by our pages and like it and say hi. We really like it when you say hi. And I'm going to hand it over to Teresa, who will be able to tell you all about our exciting guest, Laura Eisenhower.
Yes, this is an amazing bio, so strap your seatbelts on and listen to this. Laura Eisenhower is a global activist, global alchemist, a cosmic mythologist, and an intuitive astrologist. She is an internationally acclaimed speaker presenting her work worldwide. Laura is the great-granddaughter of the U.S. President Dwight David Eisenhower and is one of the leading researchers on the health, exopolitics, alchemy, metaphysics, and ancient history. Laura works to free us. This is so cool. She works to free us from the 3D holographic time loop, false archonic systems, and military-industrial complex, exposing hidden agendas so we can take our power back. She is here to guide us into higher earth energies and has been developing her incredible psychic insight since she was a child. Her passion is to inspire unity consciousness and bring us back to the pleroma, the totality of our divine powers. And this morning before the show, I went and I asked my guides and angels to give me a message because I knew this would be so important today. And this is what they told me about Laura. So this is for you. She is an emerald-like jewel spreading timely healing across the earth and the collective. Learn from her powerful message. Make the shift. Now is the appropriate time to see divine order. So, Laura, you were a part of something during the week that even last week's guest Joshua Friedman was a part of, and it was about exiting the matrix. Can you tell us some more about that? It was so interesting.
Yeah, so a couple of us came together, Jason Westerfield, Joshua Friedman, myself, and Laurel Winslet, and we did panels. We each had quite a bit of talk time, and the theme Exiting the Matrix just really had a lot to do from all our different perspectives of what it's going to take to help us to really stand in our authenticity and sovereignty. And the beauty of it all is it's the part of us that is crying out to be seen and heard, or just that permission to just really be all that you are in the world, regardless of what anybody thinks. Because as we know, the more we do that, our life is going to change. We might lose friends. We might change our career path. We might end up moving. But the whole deal is that we begin to really attract people that reflect who we truly are. And so we have a lot more resonance. And that takes us on the path of true love. My piece had a lot to do with the DNA activations that have to do with the rebalancing of the masculine and feminine, how that relates to the earth elements, earth, air, fire, water, and now ether coming into the picture, which rules the 13th sign, which is Ophiuchus. So in 2010, when the sun started to move through the 13th sign, the hosting of the ascension timeline shifted, which gave us more access to truth as a frequency within ourselves to be able to begin to develop the sort of discernment that can see through the lies that we get, the betrayals, the deceits, and the programmings. And so this is a huge time of becoming more and more clear, but at the same time, there's a lot that's still trying to come in and distract us and usher us into an artificial timeline. So we all kind of shared a piece about our thoughts about that, but that was basically the themes that I focused most on.
I got lots of chills during all that when you were talking. It's so cool. What an exciting time to be on the planet. And so I thank you for bringing that forward to us. Rhonda, who's with us, and see if there's any questions.
Oh, we have
yet.
people all up. We're extra colorful again today, and we've had this just a few times when we have really high vibe guests on. We actually changed the vibration. We look all normal here, but we're pixelating and going a little. We've got the psychedelic energy one going on again. So I apologize for that, but I don't, because when you have Laura Eisenhower on, you're going to have high vibes going on. Lupita Ort's on, and Maria Williams, and Dr. Charnel Wolverton Sihon on. Nancy Louise is on. Cindy is on. Christy Warnick is here. Dallas is here. A lot of our normal people are here. They just have a lot to say. They're just very excited. I saw a question here. I'm just going back. Lupita was asking, how do we balance the energy when no one is doing anything about the Illuminati? So that's, I guess, what I think is a greater question is, how do we do that when there's so much, or how do we influence the matrix or get out of it when there's so much, trying to pull us back in? What is our, we're just one person, but what can we do personally to help us recreate?
Well, we have to realize, there's a lot coming to the surface, I think, more than we realize. There's a lot being purged. There's a lot of indictments, supposedly. And I know we don't want to hear news that makes us think that something's going to happen, and then a year goes by and nothing happens. That can lead to a lot of frustration. But there is a lot more exposure of the Illuminati than ever before. I mean, there's events that are put on that are just completely all about that. The hidden agendas, the dark agendas, the child trafficking, the pedophilia. I mean, it's really all coming to the surface. So I think one thing is to just really feel reassured about that, even though it's still doing all it can to create sort of false names, false flags, and a misrepresentation of truth. There is a lot of change that's happening. But on that note, what we can do personally, what I found works for me, and I'm always a work in progress. I mean, every day I have to focus in on this. It's not, like I completely, have it down and I wake up every day just totally balanced. So the techniques that I've learned and the things that I do, I spend a lot of time in the wilderness, and it doesn't mean that I encourage people to go out into the depths of the wilderness and with their tent and bear spray or anything like that. But the more we kind of walk outside barefoot and just really just notice the birds around you, notice the flowers around you, notice the medicine that nature is trying to give to you, because in every moment we're being communicated with. We either get messages that don't serve us, or we get really powerful messages that are coming from spirit and our higher self, and they're guideposts, right? So you might see a hawk fly by, and instead of, just maybe ignoring it, maybe pay attention to what is the medicine there. You can look it up online, you can get a book. If you're passing by just a field of flowers, or you notice a big field of things like even milk thistle or cattails, it's just to tune into that vibration is to also wake up certain receptors in our physical body. Because as we know, herbs and plants and flower essences and nature, animal spirits are a part of our soul. And when we pay attention to nature, we light up our soul, because we're made of earth, air, fire, water, and we have an affinity to everything in the natural world, but we don't have an affinity to the matrix. And it starts to shape our belief systems. It can cause anxiety. And as we wake up and recognize a lot of those deceptions, you might feel stuck in the middle of, well, what about the rest of the planet, and what are we going to do, and not enough is being done. But if we step outside of it and give ourselves a chance to shut down our electronics, go out into nature, put really, really good food in our body, get really, really excited about the fact that we're waking up to who we truly are as creative beings. And that's just something that wants to siphon from us and hook us in. But if we can unplug from that and focus on our own creative power, there's nothing that we really can't manifest. And that's what we're learning again. And that's why there's so much stuff out there, because as long as it can get into our space and infect us, we end up enabling the very things we don't want. So just remember, you can plant seeds and help people find more awareness. But when you stand in your power and your authenticity, it really helps other people deprogram. They might not get it right away, but they might all of a sudden be thrown in a growth period and not know what hit them. Even somebody you might be standing next to in the grocery store, you might send a transmission of high vibrational energy, and they're just not in that mind control trance anymore. So really trust your effectiveness and know things are changing, but give yourself plenty of downtime to connect with your organic ascension timeline, which nature is coded with. Nature is shifting as we know it. So the vibration is going to change. Animals and humans are going to have a lot more relationship with each other. So that's kind of what I do. I just turn to nature. That's why, I always feel rejuvenated, and more grounded and less in scatterbrain over just what's going on in the world and what isn't going on in the world.
That's so awesome.
I see
This
they
morning
were,
when I was
everybody was trying to
outside-
ground us, and I see it worked. Yeah.
Oh,
it worked.
good.
We're
Thank
back
you.
to normal color.
When I was
So
doing my
you really
qigong
suggest
outside this morning, first I
Sorry.
saw a red bird and then a blue bird came, and it reminded me of the movie The Matrix, where there was a blue pill and a red pill. And so I thought, oh, those two birds, they're so reminding me of what we're going to be talking about. So I thought that was so cool. What were you saying, Rhonda?
Yeah. I was just saying, you suggest everyone unplug from the news. I've seen people that I know that are really smart, and they're addicted to it. And there's nothing they can do about it, but they're addicted to watching the train wrecks that are going on. And it's not even real train wrecks, they're just like, it's like, I don't know, it's just like watching WWF wrestling all the time, continually, because it's not real and it's not good.
Distraction. That's all it is. Yeah.
Anxiety and a fear response to the things that we see become addictive because we feel the need to protect ourselves. And the more we think we know, the more we think we can protect ourselves. And there's this sort of need to sort of know what we're up against. But at the same time, we have to see the falsities, and know that the greatest way we can protect ourselves is to, listen to our bodies. What are our bodies telling us? What is our intuition telling us? If we don't take the time to listen to our inner self, then our inner self is replaced by what something wants us to be processing constantly. And it's good to keep up with it, but people got to be very careful of mainstream news. And if you're going to listen to the news, get a full rounded picture, then you can start to develop more discernment. But I always think, people do get addicted to it, and just to be able to shut it down every once in a while. Because if we don't polish our BS meter, if we're not strong in our own intuition, we're just going to be easily gullible, even to stuff that we see in alternative news. There's fake news, so there's no guarantee where any sort of disinformation is going to come in from. And it doesn't mean that those sharing disinformation mean to you. They just might have attached themselves to something that might not be true. So the more centered in ourselves we can get, the more connected to our divinity, the more we can shift the timelines too and see maybe different stories than the ones that are more aligned with us being sucked into, a way of being that isn't, who we truly are. So there's a fine line and balance with it all. But the most important thing is to be able to see through the lies. And that only comes when you carry your own truth frequency. And to do that, you have to just be as real as possible. Even if you find yourself sad or angry, to have no judgment on it, because there's a lot of judgment on those sort of things. We're processing a lot, and there's a lot to be a bit upset about. But if we can give ourselves the chance to clear it, something else is going to emerge. We're making room for something greater to emerge, and that's where we can be the most effective. But to deny any part of the process is only going to pull us into these outer stories where we feel like we're at the mercy of everything that's going on versus us creating from the inside out. A lot of people create from the outside in versus the other way around. And when we do that from the inside out, we generate something into the field, and we're a part of the shift of the energy instead of just deciding what we're going to do because of what we're being told.
So really you're saying if we ground in our own truth and our own light and go from there, that we are shifting the reality outward. Like we're affecting the whole field of unity consciousness. Is that what you're saying? That really our responsibility is for ourselves to shift ourselves up.
Yeah, because we're all instruments to generate energy, and it either harmonizes with those around us or it's in conflict. So we're either in this very noisy, chaotic orchestra, or we're playing our tune in such a way that it invites other people to sort of step it up. And it doesn't mean they have to believe what we believe. It's not about that. It's about how can we all stand in our authenticity and blend and harmonize, where we recognize that oneness is diversity and harmony versus, people being in that old paradigm model of, well, you have to think how I think, or we're going to have a problem here. And that just creates competition.
Are you on team A or team B?
And we've been taught that.
It's always a competition.
So the best place to start with how to harmonize is with our loved ones, with ourselves, with our friends, with our community. And then that sets sort of a tone and an example for other people to feel probably more drawn to that than, you know, the chaos that, or just all the stuff that's coming to the surface that people are in denial about. Like, oh no, I can't believe that because that actor would never do that kind of thing. But if we start to just, you know, create a different, you know, frequency, and we commit to that as a truth community or a conscious community, I think it's really going to pull people in, and they're going to see they're not just a bunch of conspiracy theorists or new agers, whatever label that gets thrown. This is really authentic. There's real love here. There's real mutual respect, you know, and that is going to draw the good souls that might be being duped. But right now there's a lot of projections connected to this stuff that a lot of us share. And so you see that reflected in comments, not just trolls, of course they're paid, but people that are incredibly uncomfortable. Because in a way, they're afraid of their own deprogramming because of what they've invested in. It's really hard to just all of a sudden let it go. And so there's sort of this battle within themselves that ends up being, you know, about the messenger, not about, you know, what they might need to let go of. I mean, my goal and focus is not to try and create belief systems, but take a person into a place of awareness within themselves so that they can begin to find their own truth. And just take, you know, maybe the information I share and only, you know, adopt what resonates. Because nobody has the ultimate answers, but I at least want to paint enough of a picture to encourage a person to get back into themselves, to then tune their frequency to what works for them, and then they start to notice the medicine coming forth to help heal the deepest of wounds from past lives or this lifetime. So that's my goal. I don't know if people know that. That's my goal, you know, because I do have a lot of information, but it's not about, oh, I've got it all correct and all right. But beyond a reasonable doubt, I feel it's close enough to hopefully create an activation. You know, just kind of, here's an education we never got. There might be some areas that aren't exactly accurate, but it at least helps to paint a picture of what these dark technologies and what these dark agendas have attempted to do. And yeah, I mean, we're not meant to digress here. We're in this powerful ascension window period. It's still feeling pretty heavy and dense though, because we're in the purging stage of it all. You know, when we detox on a physical level, there's a dark period where we're kind of in a healing crisis. I see that going on in the collective completely and totally. But, you know, we're going to get over the hump because there's no turning back. There's too much getting revealed, too much coming to the surface. There's no way to turn that back around. There's too many people that won't settle for anything less than humanity's awakening. And they're powerful enough individuals, powerful enough groups, powerful enough movements, you know, plenty of events, plenty of radio shows, plenty of people like you really doing the work that it's only going to grow. This part of it all can't shrink. There's no way to stop it. Once you bust through the matrix, once you push through the net of that mind control, there's really no turning back. And it's snowballing in a really, really rapid rate, I'm feeling. Yeah, I wake up feeling a lot more just when I see the news headlines and all this, you know, the alternative news, even though I don't put too much attention on all of it, like I said before, the glimpses that I get are just mass disclosure in a lot of ways. So it's a wonderful time to be alive. You're right. I agree. And it's about time. It's been thousands of years, hasn't it?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes.
It's like being the light, and that dispels the darkness, right? I think that's what one of our guests said a few weeks ago. Just being a light, it doesn't. Darkness just can't exist in its presence. So I think that's.
And when we're in the light,
almost like the Akashic records.
Mm-hmm.
Almost like the Akashic records, where we come from a place of non-judgment and love, and sort of treat our fellow human beings that way. Like, yeah, that would be nice.
Totally.
Wouldn't it?
And when we stand in the light, it purifies the dark. It pulls everything that's hiding out of the dark. And then when we relate to our own darkness, it's more the creative vessel. It's the womb. It's the soil that generates new life, without all these things hiding in the shadows manipulating us. So the more we stand in the light, it naturally purges out all the stuff that we don't need, and then we can be a lot more solid and grounded without being in the dark, but having it as a creative force as our consciousness is in the light, if you know what I mean. So when we're in that light too, it really helps to purge out what's been happening in the shadow governments, what's been happening behind the scenes in certain religions, Hollywood, even just some of the darkness that's existed there, because it has the false light, right? People are attracted to it. They kind of idolize it or look up to it. And as people have begun to step away and sort of, see what's going on behind the scenes more, that naturally is going to be disappointing, but also empowering, because people are going to be more willing to shut it off and not just kind of live their life through these characters. I think, with all that darkness being exposed, as painful as it might be, where else do we have to fall but back on ourselves and each other?
Yes.
And then those that are in those industries that never wanted to buy into it or were blackmailed, we can help them, so we can weed out the real players of those dark agendas. And because a lot of people are blackmailed and don't want to be blackmailed, and they need our forgiveness and compassion. We don't have to throw the baby out with the bathwater, but there needs to be, that understanding of who's who, and the more authentic and transparent people can be, the better. A lot of people are going to want to cover their tracks though, or save their face or whatever. But anyway, that's not necessary to talk about. But in the theme of exiting the matrix, there's a lot of people immersed in the matrix that are going to be invited to exit it, but it's going to be very uncomfortable if there's not a space of love and forgiveness being held for those that are ready to change or, clear themselves of those agreements. Even those that have sold their soul, they said, you can never really sell your soul. That's an illusion. Anyway, so I like to see the love energy and the unity that we're creating is going to invite a lot of people that have been compromised, and, just really hold open space for them to heal, and not kind of brand them because they're associated, because that's just not going to help anything.
Yeah, so
That's a
cool.
perfect
That's
segue
awesome.
into your meditation. I think your clearing and seed planting meditation that Laura's going to share with us. We're so honored to let her share this with us, and having a great clearing and seed planting meditation for all of us. So if y'all want to get ready for that, we'll let you take it away, Laura.
Okay, wonderful. So I won't lead too many meditations. As you know, I talk kind of fast, so I'm just going to slow down a little bit. And really excited about this, though. I work with clients on this sort of more one-on-one rather than kind of share it in a group space. So it's really about just right now, just closing our eyes and taking really deep breaths until we feel that we're really centered in our own core and that nothing else is getting in, no distractions, nothing kind of pulling at us maybe about our day or our week, or maybe even the information we're processing from what we just talked about. And just to, really quiet the mind and just take a few deep breaths. And as you're taking deep breaths, just, imagine a grounding cord going all the way down into the center of the earth, and kind of visualize the quality of your grounding cord right now. Is it very narrow? Is it kind of unanchored? Or is it really, really wide? Are you really sitting in a, grounded space? And if you don't feel you are, just visualize it growing and expanding, so that a lot more that needs to be released can be released through that zone. And the more that opens up, just imagine in your upper chakras, just sort of an opening and an expansive awareness to really draw in cosmic energy and light, and let the circulation start to activate your chakras to clean themselves. And as you kind of visualize this, there might be a particular chakra you feel called to, and kind of notice in your body, like, where is there more attention? Maybe it's your heart chakra, maybe it's your solar plexus, how you identify with your own personal sense of power. Maybe it's your throat chakra, which has a lot to do with how we share our truth and how we even telepath. It connects us with clairaudience. Maybe it's our third eye. So just kind of notice as your grounding cord's really wide and you invite yourself to really expand your consciousness and open up to cosmic divine light and your own natural sun energy, your own life force that sometimes sits outside of us. Just kind of what happens when the two are kind of working together. And if it's outside of us, sometimes we give it away. If we see somebody struggling or in pain, we give them our sun, we give them our vitality to kind of heal them and help them. And so we might want to notice where I wouldn't say give our power away, but give a lot of our healing energy away. Our third chakra is going to show us more where we give our power away. So we each have our areas that we need to work on and our areas of strength. So as you just really ground and really expand and give yourself that space and protect your bubble and visualize a stronger energetic field surrounding you, just kind of what happens and what takes place. So as you do this, every time something comes up that you feel doesn't serve you or is fear-based or connected to some kind of anxiety, ask your grounding cord to release it into the earth. So as things are just kind of moving, something might come up. Maybe there's anxiety about your children or what's happening on the planet, what's happening in a relationship. Maybe it's a fear about yourself or your health. And so if any of that is coming up, just invite it to be released. And because everything can't be released, there's going to be some things that we will want to transmute. So if you find that something's just really sticky and stuck, invoke your higher self, invoke spirit to assist you in transmuting it so that you can get a message that will bring more wisdom and clarity so that you know how to work with it in a way that takes you towards a positive solution. And as you invoke your higher self, invite your higher self to come into your root chakra so that there's not a division between higher and lower, so that you're operating from the intentions of your higher self. Because once that is anchored in the body, it's going to naturally clear the stuff that we're trying to work on. Or it's naturally going to help us to have epiphanies that lead us and guide us towards greater solutions and medicines and antidotes. Or life changes that are positive, where we have the willingness to let toxic people go, or we might, change our lifestyle and maybe leave a job or a situation that doesn't serve us. And it'll help us to feel stronger and more empowered, because very often it's our lack of self-worth or insecurities that keep us stuck. Maybe we're waiting for it to heal, or we're looking for some kind of validation. But if you can't reach certain people, and no matter how much you try, it doesn't change, how can we feel strong enough in ourselves to take what might feel like a risk? The thing is, when we step into our power and our authenticity, the magic and synchronicities increase. So if there's a place in you that you don't feel that trust in yourself, or the trust in the universe, or the support of the elements or nature or spirit, that might be something to, really look at and release. So the goal is more about releasing what doesn't, serve you, to invite in, what truly does. So just kind of breathe into that and just kind of see what's coming up. And even if you're not able to fully identify it, just allow yourself to be activated by these words to sort of set all this in motion within your space. So if you're kind of like, well, I'm trying to do all this, and just trust that it's happening, and that you can carry this forward through the rest of your day and just kind of have it be on autopilot. So we set the intention that for the rest of the day, our grounding cord is going to be wide. We're going to feel expanded in our consciousness. We're going to mix earth energies and cosmic energies to clear our chakras, and either release things that don't serve us or transmute our relationship with them so that we can gain more wisdom. So sometimes we forget about things that we want to acknowledge. Maybe it's something that somebody said that made us feel good. Maybe it's an opportunity to do something that's really aligned with our greater calling or mission. And maybe we just got busy and forgot about it. So where can we look around in our lives and find the things that we want to acknowledge and have gratitude for? To just really own it and really hold it in our heart. Because, even if good things are happening, sometimes we're still living in the past, or looping on old triggers, or even fears that maybe the things that we're grateful for will leave us or abandon us. But the thing is, we hold the treasures within ourselves, and there's no loss that we can experience on the outside that means that we have to lose something on the inside. We have to, be okay with change, but trust that it's always change for the better. Even if it means that there's going to be a difficult period in order to see that. We are lifting the veils between life and death. So even if there's loss of loved ones, we have to see that the connection of love on a spirit to spirit level is what helps clear those veils. The more we fear separation, the more we bring that veil back, and the more we feel into the heavy density of everything. As we shine a light onto our unconscious self, we begin to recognize that we're multidimensional, and that begins to lift the veils as well. So maybe after this call, you can invite yourself to come up with some sort of mantra and hold it in your heart, maybe now if you can think of it, and write it down later. You can put them on Post-it notes on your fridge and different places around your house so that you can often read it, because that's going to help train your mind to really adopt it. It might be things like, I'm abundant, I'm in balance, I am sovereign, I am guided and protected, or things like, I'm allowing a wound to guide me into my healing power. The things that hurt are the things that can set us free if we can see it in such a way. So maybe there's something that you want to acknowledge, but there's something that comes along with it that'll help you to really stay grounded with it, without it being about what it's giving you, more, also what you're giving it, and what it's producing in you. So if you're feeling that you're abundant because of it, make sure you claim that I am abundant. And even beyond the situation that you might feel abundant about, it's something that you can have beyond, as long as the situation's the way it is, you feel that way. Because you can feel that way regardless of the changes that are going to happen. Because when you own it and you know it, there's no fear about the changes, because you'll always be supported. So say you leave a job and you're afraid that you won't make money, or the things that you really want to do won't give you the abundance that you need. The more you claim these things, the more confident you might feel in some of the changes that you're being called to make. So I am in balance. So when things in the news or outside of us create a form or a feeling of imbalance, we can kind of return to center, because to maintain perfect balance all the time is unrealistic. So we kind of lose that space and we gain that space back, as long as we have that home base within us to know how to return. So the more we strengthen that feeling of balance, we recognize the divine blueprint of the masculine and feminine in balance and in harmony. Even if things outside of us throw us off, we have that place to return to. We can take a deep breath and reset the energy and come back. So of course, choose things to acknowledge that serve your greatest needs. Invoke your higher self for assistance, and visualize the powerful energy streaming in, going right into your root, so that you're integrated, so that you've been able to integrate polarity. And again, that will help you to make important changes in your life. And there will be less of a division between your higher and lower self, where you're living a life that's not matching what you really want, or what your spirit, your higher self would really like to see you doing. So the final piece is, take a deep breath again. And to get a picture in your mind and in your heart about what your dreams and visions and goals are. And it doesn't have to be big and lofty. It might just be a feeling of contentment, a feeling of safety. It might be a project that you're interested in doing. It might be a trip you want to take. It might be a friend you want to visit. Anything. It doesn't matter how small or how big, because we all have a common purpose. And there's no greater role than anybody else's role. We all have a common purpose of knowing ourselves, being true to ourselves, having a positive influence on those around us, and being honest with our shadow side, so that we can begin to clear the energies that get in our way. So once you get that picture in your head and the seeds that you would like to plant, ask your creative channels to be infused with these instructions so that you can manifest them. So there might be other things in there that you can ask to be cleared. And again, this can be something that happens throughout the day and throughout the week, and for as long as you want, as long as you can hold consistency to this intention. So as you infuse your creative channels with your dreams and your visions, you can start to knock out other people's projections, old patterns of your ancestry, ancestral patterns, maybe old voices of authority that told you this is right, this is wrong, you can do this and you can't do that, or you shouldn't do that, or that's unpractical, or all those different things that get locked in our creative energy and ends up manifesting things that we constantly have to run into to either clear or overcome, which we might not always see that way. We might see it as defeat or something to reinforce our insecurities. So the more our creative channels are clear of that, and the more it's infused with our dreams and visions, the less we notice the things that are undermining us. We tend to filter it out more, and we only notice the things that encourage our goals and our dreams, because those negative energies are going to still be there, but we won't notice them if our attention is on what counts. Those things will just, they're like, they just don't penetrate our being. But the more we hold on to things that have a negative feel, that undermine us, the more we hold on to that as a belief system, the more we're going to notice people that reinforce it. We might attract people that say something that hurts our feelings. But if we have focused on our visions and dreams, that same person might come up, but we might not even turn our attention to them. Or we might hear them begin to say something and know to change the subject or not allow it to penetrate our space and hurt us. But if we do get hurt, because it's kind of something we can't fully avoid, just remember to take a deep breath and remember who you are and what matters, and that's just, something to clear. It's not the truth. The truth is that we're divine, we're whole, we're holy, we're powerful, and we're in a rehabilitation healing process. So it's not always going to look perfect, but we have to drop the judgments of that. So just to kind of wrap this up, getting a picture of that. Every time that you think of something that you'd like to manifest beyond this meditation, be sure to write it down. It might be a trigger that comes up throughout the day, an inspiration, an idea, something that jumps out at you like, gosh, that looks interesting, or wow, I'd love to learn how to do that, or wow, I really want to go on this retreat or go to this event. And so write it down or ground it or say something out loud. And, and it might be something that comes up about healing, something that, oh, I want to try that herb, or that looks like a really good practice that could really help. Make sure to really ground it and write it down. It might be things that come up about wellness or your protection or wanting to create an encounter or experience or any of that. So it's basically any goal you have or inspiration that you would like to follow and integrate into your life. It can be prayers you have for others too. It might be career goals, relationship goals, creative goals, or physical goals. So beyond this meditation, you might want to have a box where you put the things that you wrote down in, and put maybe crystals or stones in that box, or your favorite necklace or something you wear all the time, and sort of close that box, maybe throw some essential oils on it, and it's really just to energize it and to bring it to life, so that when you wear or carry that crystal, or you wear that necklace, or you wear that bracelet and you carry it around with you, it's holding space for you, so that you don't always have to kind of be focusing on it. It's keeping you in that vibration and intention of what your dreams and visions are, so that you can plant those seeds. So with the idea of out with the old and in with the new, and keeping your creative channels vibrating at your dreams and visions, this is what I suggest. And if this sounds good to you, just say yes to yourself and hold that intention close to your heart. And just like committing to a relationship, you don't have to think about it once that commitment's there, because that's going to sort of speak through you and for you. So just really know that if you trust yourself and you have set this intention, that it's locked in, and let the rest do its magic. And thank you so much for letting me share that.
That's awesome. So much. That's
You.
one for the replay.
Oh.
Yeah.
We're still all
Yes, I
multicolored
wrote
again,
so much
but,
down.
people just, go back and listen to this again. Do the play. You can just put your headphones on. You don't have to watch anything, and just listen to it. Go back and do this. This one you can listen to again and again. That's like a good daily meditation. Oh, yeah.
I'm glad you liked it.
That's
Oh,
awesome.
Good.
So good.
Yes, it's so good. I wrote so much down.
Just stay with us, Laura, for a second. Bex is going to give our final announcements, and then we'll say goodbye. So
Okay.
go ahead, Bex.
Right. And yes, thank you so much, Laura. That was really amazing. And so much of the information you shared really resonated. And again, it's stuff that I've been working through myself. So it's really great timing for this. And I look forward to hearing more from you in the future. So thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you. I've really enjoyed the time with the three of you. Thank you for having me.
Yes, thank you. So for our announcements today, if you share out this video, share it out as much as you can, get the word out, like it up, heart it up, you can win. Whoever shares out the most will win a, oh, I have it written down. Okay, here we go. Healing Through Your Records with Rhonda Elliott. That's what you get to win if you share out this week. And the winner of last week's share out, who won a 1-card reading plus a personalized meditation with Teresa, is Shelly Soul. So congratulations, Shelly. And Teresa will be in contact with you to schedule that. After this, at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, 10 a.m. Pacific Time, we have Nourishing Your Multidimensional Body with Kathy Homeyer. And then tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific is the Cosmic Ascension Report with Janelle Cameron. And we also have more shows throughout the week. So if you like what you see and you would like to see more of the uplifting information and sharing in the knowledge and being able to break out of this matrix, we invite you to check out the rest of the shows here on the Akashic Academy. And if you would like to go even further into the Akashic Academy, there's also the secret group page where it's 1111. It's a subscription page where you can actually have intuitive classes, and there's also, I think, mindfulness classes with Coach Nick. So that is something that you could look into as well. It's just being able to invest in yourself and be able to really push yourself into, really embodying your higher self. So I think that's it for announcements. And again, thank you so much. Oh, and if you really like what you see, please leave a review on the Akashic Academy page. We really, really love when you guys leave reviews, and we appreciate having you all here and connecting with you. That's it.
Woohoo.
Teresa, do you want to say something else before we leave and thank our guests?
Well, I kind of want to remind everybody to go to our YouTube channel, Spirit Sessions of View of the Light, and like our YouTube channel, and never miss an episode of our show. And yes, I wrote so much down. I was taking notes about all the affirmations and things I was going to be using that Laura was inspiring me for. So I hope you all took notes too. It's going to be great.
And Laura's information is on this on the blurb with the video, and you can find her at her webpage, Cosmic Gaia. Is that right, Laura?
.org.
And she also has a YouTube channel. And you can just go to Laura Eisenhower's YouTube channel, and lots of information, blow your mind information there. So we thank you again. We hope to see you again.
Yes.
Oh, I would love that.
You're a delight.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Have a great rest of your day.
Yes, thank you.
You too.
Namaste.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bless everyone. Bye. I have to say goodbye to everyone. Goodbye, everyone.